fan's heart is full of hate. He butthurts, cries, and a dark shadow falls over this troll. From the ashes of a once great fandom has risen a meme, an LOL that must be liked. We look to the airwaves for a vindicator, someone to strike fear in the dark basement of the parents who created him. The battle between fan and smark has begun. With a head on his shoulders stands the smart fan, a speaker of truths, with a voice of silence and a radio show of justice. This is Ring Rust.
So, if you go to the CHMR's Ring Rust Facebook page, click on like if you haven't already. You can scroll on down. You can check out a trailer for the new WWE DVD set, U.S. Championship, A Legacy of Greatness. And it's provided by WrestlingDVDNetwork.com.
And I quote,
check out the TMZ of professional wrestling news. And I quote, on Facebook. All the latest news with some attitude, new and classic wrestling videos, and so much more.
Can I have your attention, please? I just received an email from the Raw general manager.
This is Fabio Mark Cerrone. You're listening to Ring Rust. New Evolution Wrestling returns to the CLB Armory in sunny St. John's, Newfoundland to kick off its first event in 2016. At their previous event, it was witnessed the crowning of the New Evolution Wrestling heavyweight champion, X-Rated Steve Arsenault. After politicking his way into a first-round tournament matchup, Arsenault went on to steal a first-round victory over Dylan Sharp and Bulldog Brandon Hines, and then went on to win the championship later in controversial fashion. He will defend his championship in the main event. You'll also witness the fallout of Hellraiser Justin Locke's ongoing problems with Newfoundland's unstoppable monster, Psycho Mitch, and his newest sidekick, Sheik Aziz. Doors open at 6, bell time at 7. That's local time, of course. Tickets are $15 in advance for general admission, $10 in advance for children, 12 and under. All tickets $20 at the door. Tickets are on sale at the CLB Armory on Harvey Road by ticket delivery. You can call 709-687-1338. I don't think you need 709 within Newfoundland if you're having them delivered anyway, and you can purchase tickets at newevolutionwrestling.com under the shop section. Proudly sponsored by Greco Pizza, Home Hardware, JC's Entertainment Services, and Hub Printing and Catering. So, I got an invitation from a winner, friend of mine, one DT Power. Grizzled veteran that he is. Well, he was grizzled to begin with, but now he's also a veteran. He had an extra ticket, and he said, if you want to come, you're welcome to come. And it's like, okay, well, I'll see if I can get out of CHMR, because I'm usually here until at least 7, and that's when the show starts. I'm looking forward to hanging out with my friend, DT Power. We like much the same things. We like nerdy stuff. We like wrestling, obviously. He's come on my show a half dozen times now, I think, and we've had a pretty good conversation. He proves to be quite the Abbott to my Costello. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. If you go to the CHMR's Ring Rust Facebook page, click on like if you haven't already, if you're not already there, of course. Scroll on down to Stone Cold Steve Austin talks wrestling politics at the Great American Outdoor Show. And that is brought to us by EBC27.com. It took him a while to get to the mid-state, but Stone Cold Steve Austin was excited to be there. The WWE Hall of Fame wrestler was delayed leaving Los Angeles for 2 hours and was laid over in Atlanta for 5 hours before making it to Harrisburg at 11:30 p.m. Tuesday night. He said he's got the best fans, with about 50 to 75 people greeting him at the airport. To see all the people come here, it means a lot to me. I put forth a body of hard work, and I worked my tail off to try and entertain these people, and so I love my fans, Austin said. No, I'm not going to do a really bad Steve Austin impersonation. Well, probably because every Steve Austin impersonation is a bad Steve Austin impersonation. So if you want to read along to that article, by all means, pop on over to the CHMR's Ring Rust Facebook page and scroll on down. You'll find the article. You are listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. Yesterday marked 1 year since Sasha Banks won the NXT Women's Championship from champion Charlotte at NXT TakeOver Rival in a fatal four-way with Becky Lynch and Bayley. Sasha would carry the title until August 22nd when she lost it to the Human Hugplex Machine in Brooklyn, New York.
Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/ringrust. Follow me on Twitter at Mark Jabroni, and subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboy Mark Jabroni.
This is Fanboy Mark Jabroni. You're listening to Ring Rust. Ring of Honor employee Kevin Keelan, who did some refereeing and working the ring crew, was fired this past weekend after allegedly making advances at a female member of the roster. Keenan previously worked for WWE as a referee, but was released in 2009. The night before, after the TV tapings in Nashville, Tennessee, some of the wrestlers, crew, and staff went out for food and drinks. This is when Keenan made the alleged advances, which apparently included spanking her rear end, and it was clear to people there that the unnamed female wrestler member was uncomfortable. People reportedly told Keenan that his behavior was unacceptable, and he left the establishment they were at with a few other people. ROH officials were told later that night, and Booker Hunter Johnson, aka Delirious, reprimanded Keenan the next day in front of the ring crew, officials, and roster members. Johnson reportedly told Keenan that his actions weren't acceptable in the ROH locker room and wouldn't be accepted in any other locker room. Johnson then told Keenan to gather his belongings, leave, and to not come back. Well, you know, on the lower promotions like Ring of Honor or Impact Wrestling or stuff like that, it might be the last straw. And then in other wrestling promotions, you know, you can go around pooping in other people's bags and nothing happens to you. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. So, you want to read along with the story I'm about to read? Popping over to the Ring Rust Facebook page. Click on like if you haven't already. And, oh, for the love of... If I can have your attention, please. I just received an email from the ridiculous Ring Rust general manager. I keep putting this guy in my spam folder, and he keeps getting through. Anyway, I haven't used the Magic Smark Ball Pro Wrestling Fortune Teller Magic 8-Ball sort of thing yet this week. Okay, so what do you want me to do with it? I want to ask if I'm going to go to the new wrestling show tonight. Okay. Am I going to go to the new wrestling show tonight? New Evolution Wrestling. I gotta like how the initials spell new and the N stands for new. Because. Doubt Meltzer. Well, ironically enough, I did read an article written by Meltzer saying I wasn't going. So there you go. I'm going. As many of you have heard by now, of course, Titus O'Neil has been suspended from WWE for his for some unprofessional conduct he had during Raw. He apparently grabbed Vince McMahon in a rough sort of fashion, and as a means of celebrating or whatever. So on his Instagram, Titus O'Neil WWE. Titus 2:7, in all things shewing thyself a pattern of good works, in doctrine shewing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity. Be committed to God's purpose in your life, and even in the midst of trials and tribulations, keep your class, character, and commitment strong towards the good that God has clearly called you to perform. Be the light in someone's life today. So, he's just quoting Bible verses, and yeah, he's since taken full responsibility for his actions of actually sort of accidentally hurting his boss, and that's kind of not a good thing to even accidentally hurt your boss, so, when you're celebrating stuff, so. I look forward to seeing him back within 60 days. Then he'll be once again making moves. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Gerbonology TV. Who knows? Anyway, this is Fatboy Mark Jabroni. You're listening to Ring Rust. So next up, we want to check out the thing it's a YouTube video, actually. It's Daniel Bryan's final match, which saw Daniel Bryan and John Cena taking on Antonio Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. What do they call them? Swinging Cats, I think. Because, swinging cats as in, hip dudes. And swinging cats as in they're Antonio Cesaro does the swing and Tyson Kidd had the cat. And that premise, I think, is a little bit weaker than I originally thought. But anyway, so if you want to watch the video of Daniel Bryan's last WWE match, and his last match at all, period, actually, then it's on the CHMR's Ring Rust Facebook page.
Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/ringrust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni. And subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni.
Because, well, the wrestler, I guess. This is Fatboy Mark Jabroni. You are listening to Ring Rust. So we're going to leave things off here with a bit of good news out of for WWE Hall of Famer Bret the Hitman Hart. Surgery's over and on the long road to recovery. He wants to thank Dr. Hindman, I think is how you pronounce it, Hyndman, and the nursing staff at Rocky View Hospital for an outstanding job. He also wants to thank his family, friends, and fans for all your love and support. Things are looking up, and he should be home in the next couple of days. In the words of Vince McMahon, it's onwards and upwards.
That's it for another show, kiddies. Check me out on Facebook, where you can keep track of all the news that's right on the mark, from around ringside to the latest concerts. See you at the shows. Later days.
This is 93.5 CHMR FM.